So good morning everybody, my name is Ulrich Isermeyer from Adobe system in Munich. I'm since 2005 with Adobe and responsible for Acrobat plus Creative Cloud Enterprise and Technical Communication Suite, so some other products as well. I do business development, that means I'm technical sales more or less, and I do events like that. And yeah, for the next 45 minutes I would like to show you some things which are non-static PDF things, which are in PDF in the specification. And the format is 20 years old, and it's not only a flat format which is not editable like most of the people think. It can do much more. So just two words about Adobe. Maybe you have heard that. Adobe has two major, or let's say three major groups. The one is the creative part of the business called digital media. That's where all the tools are, like Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, and the Creative Suite called Creative Cloud now, including also Acrobat. And then we have the PDF solutions. That's all around the PDF solutions with Acrobat. And EchoSign for e-signing, for example. And then we have a second big group of the company, and that's called digital marketing. So Adobe is the second largest web analytic company in the world, which not everybody knows, but we acquired Omniture, and we have a large web content management system called Day CQ5, which is also in Adobe now. And this group together is called digital marketing. So let's go to the format. As you know, a lot of documents are handed still through paper if there is a signature, if there is anything which has to do with security, which doesn't have to leave the house, which is a little bit confidential, which is strictly confidential, and so on. So a lot of processes are done still manually. And even we have email, even we have PDF, we have all the formats, still people work with paper. The task of the PDF file is not only to be the end product as a document, but it can be also a transport container. And the transport container can include data from applications like SAP, for example, or other enterprise systems, CRM systems, and databases. The customer, it's himself. He does only need the Adobe Reader, nothing else. And then he can fill out a form, for example, send it back, and all the data are pulled out of the PDF as an XML file, for example. I show you something later on how that works. So if you look at the ISO 32000 specification, as you know, and most of you are aware of that, there's not only the presentation layer in the PDF file, which is the upper left box, which you can see here for text and graphics. We have audio, video, we have 3D models, which are becoming also an ISO standard with PDF E2 we heard about yesterday, with the PRC and the U3D format. We have a form layer. This form layer can be acro forms, but also can be XFA. That means it's an XML form data. That can be combined with JavaScript, so you can really put a lot of intelligence into a PDF. And SAP is one of those companies who's doing that. They have a technology OEM from Adobe, and this technology is XFA forms. So if you have a very complex SAP GUI, you can put that into a template, into an XML form called XFA, put it or send it to the user, let it fill out, and pull it back into SAP. That's just an example of that. The green layer, that's a security layer. The security layer can go from a simple password, which can still be hacked, through certificates, which are harder to crack, or really hard to crack, until a digital rights management PDF file, which is really almost impossible to hack. And this security layer allows that. Adobe has technology in terms of desktop and server product, and the server product for that is a digital rights management server from the Lifecycle family, which is now put into the one group called Adobe Experience Manager Forms. So there you find this technology, which is DRM, for example. And the last level, which you can see down here, that's things like attachments. Yesterday a lot of talks were about attachments, like PDF A3 can include, for example, an XML file from an invoice, or it can include an Excel file. This is in this layer. Also the annotations which you can put on a PDF are in this layer. So if you look at that, the PDF file itself, it can include a lot of those levels, and they can be combined with each other. So if you look at that, that could be one PDF file which includes business logic as an XML form. It can include a 3D PDF model which can interact with this form. It can also include those native files which you have seen there. And on the right side, it is an email archive which Acrobat can provide. So you can put all your emails, including the attachments, in one PDF file and look that through, search for it, and have that always ready. So I would like to show you, just as a beginning, this example, what you can see here, as a real example. So let me go into my demo file, and there you can see, for example, that this was the wrong viewer. I open that with Acrobat, and there you can see that this is a portfolio, and this portfolio has been created in Outlook. So you can just go down here and you see this email, which was the original email. Then it includes, of course, it's from me, and it's to Peter Körner, and so on. You can click on that, and it opens automatically the email client. It also includes an attachment, and you can sort this portfolio, which you can see here, like you can do it with Outlook or with Lotus Notes. You can see where it's from. The file structure is in there. You can see from whom it is, and you can see also that it has here some attachments. So if you look at that, for example, there's an attachment which includes an Excel data sheet, and if you double click on that, it automatically has the same Excel sheet that it was when it was an email. So each email is a single PDF combined in a thing called portfolio, and this UI, which you can see here, is a Flash-based UI, so it's really easy to navigate through that, and the attachments are seen here. So that's one document which I wanted to show you. The other one, which you can see here on the left side, I can show you as well. So let's go here, and I would like to open that. And this is a file which is one PDF file, And here with preview, I have to open that with Acrobat again. Sorry about that. So you can see that is a 2-page document. So it has a 2D drawing, and on the left side it has a 3D picture, and it has a 3D model. So if I click in here, you have the 3D model. But this is not only to turn and zoom and so on. It has automatic connections to some buttons, which drives the 3D model. So for example, I can show the exploded view, and there's an animation inside this 3D PDF file. You can also go in the reader and have it as available as a cat viewer. Just with the mouse button full screen, you have a complete 3D viewer with the normal free Adobe Reader. If you click on one part, for example here, in this example, you can see on the upper right corner that this number or this part number changes. So all parts have different numbers. So where does this information come from? That's very easy. It comes from the 3D model. And you can, of course, have a look at the 3D model if you just click on here. And you can see that in this, oh sorry, that was wrong. It's so small here that I was clicking the wrong button. So the 3D model is inside here, and the 3D model has, of course, some views which are controlled from here. So that's very easy to show. And the views, they are stored inside this file and can be driven by those buttons. So let me, for example, click on one part and show the information on the part. So you have a data sheet connected to this 3D model inside the same PDF. So if you click on the attachments, you see that there are 2 PDFs which have the part catalog, and it automatically knows when I go on, for example, this other part here, and I say, okay, show me the information on that one, that he has to pull the right page from this other document. So that's very straightforward, but it goes a little bit further. So if you say, okay, this part, for example, that's broken, and I'm a service engineer, I have to order that from the stock. So you just click on that part, you say, okay, please add that part to my order. So what happens is, if I click on this one here, it automatically opens an XFA form. And if you put those next to each other, then you can see very easy what happens. I don't know what's going on here. Certificate revocation. Okay, there's something wrong with the internet connection here. Okay. So let me do that a little bit smaller. And now on the left side you see the XFA form, and on the right side you see the 3D model. And there's a JavaScript between those 2 PDFs. So if I click on that part and I want to order that as well, I just click here and you see what happens here in this table on the left side. It automatically grows and adds this part to the list. So that can be done with JavaScript. It's a very easy script and can be used as a template. And as I said before, this is a dynamic XFA form, so you can easily purge out, for example, this one. And you can have a web service connected to this XFA form, which goes to SAP and has a look, is it part on stock, yes or no? So you just click here and it goes through the web service, asks, is that valid, yes or no? And then it brings back the right yes. And also dynamic means if I click on credit card, this field pops up, which was not there before. Then you can sign it with a digital signature, and then you can just click on that button and you have an XML file attached to your email, which goes to the manufacturer and orders this part. So that's a workflow for PDF, which is non-flat, which has JavaScript, which has 3D, which includes also an XFA form. So let me continue with the next slide. So what you have seen was the right one. That was an XFA form. I have a little bit more on that one. What I wanted to show you is in Acrobat the ability to create an acro form from a normal paper. So for that I have also an example which I would like to show you, and that's this example. So that's a form. I hate preview. That's a form, and this form I want to just convert into a fillable form. So in the moment, nothing. That's the typical scenario. You can't fill out anything. We have a technology built into Acrobat Standard and Acrobat Pro where you can just say, please create a form from the existing document, and then it automatically converts all the fields into acroform fields. So those acroform fields can be modified for example, accessibility. You can move around the fields in which order they have to be. If you want to delete something or if you want to modify that, you can just go there or place a new field, for example, a text field somewhere which you want to have here. And with a double click, for example, on that one, you go inside the form field and you can modify all the different values. You can even put JavaScript inside here, so there's calculation possible, and of course you can say, okay, please check the values of this field when somebody enters a number or so. With preview, you go in and you have your form ready, which you can just fill out, very easy. But that is not the end of the story. Now you need to collect the data from the customer. So what happens is you can say, okay, I go here and say I want to distribute that. So normally you just save that again, and you say, okay, I want to replace that, and then you can say go, for example, to a server, which can be SharePoint, which can be web server or whatever, and then you can just fill out this field, send it, and the customer gets this form, sends it back, and with Acrobat you can collect that again. So that was what I just showed you, the creation. The distribution I will skip because you can believe me that that works. And I would like to show you what comes back from the customer and how you can really easy use it and convert it into Excel. So if you click on this form, you can see that this is a portfolio again. So it's a super container of a PDF, which includes a lot of other PDFs. And those PDFs, as you have seen before with emails, those are the filled out forms. So very easy, you can have a preview on those forms. So if I look at that, you can see what each of those guys has filled out. And yeah, so now this is a collection of the answers which were coming back automatically on the server, and you can just say, okay, please export that into a CSV or into an XML file. And the result is then an Excel or a database. So that's a very, very easy, straightforward form process which is built into every Acrobat and what people can do. With the XFA forms, I would like to show you an example what concept is behind that. So with XFA, you have, for example, a file called address. This XML file address comes from somewhere, could be whatever application. You have that XML file, you have an editor called Lifecycle Designer, that's an XML editor for lifecycle forms or XFA forms. You just drag and drop it there, and what happens, it is automatically shown like that. So if I open that in Reader or in Acrobat, it comes like this, and I included also a 2D barcode. And this is also something which is as a technology built in Reader and in Acrobat, and most other viewers in the meanwhile can also do that. But I want to show you what happens here. So if I fill out the name, look at the barcode, it automatically recalculates the barcode. And this can be faxed, by the way. So if you fax this back, you can read out the barcode. You will have 0 errors in this. If you don't fax it, but click on this button, click here and say, okay, send it through an email, you can see that this XML file is attached to that email. And if I open that, you can see that my name is visible here. So that's exactly what I showed you before with this transmission 3D model. The parts would be shown like that in the XML file. Another example which I would like to show you from XFA, that's an example from a telecommunication company. And this example has a very, very nice business logic inside the form. So the red fields are fields which are mandatory to be filled out. And if you click here, you can order a DSL package, for example, from this vendor. So what the customer has to do, he just clicks in here, and then he can choose what else he wants to have. And I say, okay, I want this premium package. And this premium package has already some values which are pre-filled into this form. Dynamic form means also this can grow. So look at the form, it still looks nice. It is not broken at a page level and looks awful like other forms which you can find outside. And you can fill that out. Dynamic means also I have hardware already. So if I click here, it pops up a different field which was not there before. So if I click on that field, you can see that. And the nice thing about it is this reacts to all the inputs from the users. So if you click in there, the business logic automatically gives you the right values, and you can't do anything wrong with this format. It will always remind you, please fill that out because you forgot this field, or this can't be, you have to adjust this and this. And those XFA forms are heavily used in the industry. A lot of banks, a lot of insurance companies are using that because, of course, you can't do anything wrong, and you have always the right data. Now the question comes, if I put everything offline in this form, what happens if anything changes? There are two possibilities. The first thing is you connect it to a digital rights management server, and next time the customer clicks on the form, even if it's offline, there will pop up a menu, please download the new version, or you put all the values which are changeable into a web service and reload that from the web service into this form. So that's very powerful, and a lot of customers are using that. That's called XFA, and yeah, you have just seen some examples. So what happens when you want to archive those forms? Yeah, well, they can't be dynamic, they can't include JavaScript, that's not allowed in PDF-A. Even in PDF-A3 that's not allowed. So what you have to do, you have to flatten that. That means you fill that out, you have the right values, and then there are possibilities in Acrobat, or of course in other tools as well, where you can flatten that PDF and it will be an archive version of this form. It can't be filled out anymore, but it includes all the values. So what I've just shown you, that's an example of that, and it can be connected to different systems. So for example, the SAP dynamic form, that could be also connected to other databases, to a CRM system. You can include a digital signature, you can include a barcode, you have just seen that as well. And all those levels, the presentation level, the business logic, and the XML file are in the same PDF. And XML can be pulled out of the PDF, or you can just say, okay, the PDF stays at the customer, he just sends me the XML file back. Yeah, that's just how it works. You can see here that all those fields can be linked together in some form fields, and you can really combine that with web services and have a real intelligent format. So let's come to the 3D part. This slide you have seen yesterday already, and I would like to show you a real-life example of what's possible. You have just seen that I can animate that I can connect that to a different external form. But I would like to show you the power of the 3D, and for that I have some examples which I brought with me. What you can see here is the 3D part is just a window inside the PDF, and this window inside the PDF can be connected to other fields that can be form fields on this page or on another page. You can put a link from a text to the model, or you can of course drive a different view from outside. So all the things are possible, including collaboration features like commenting or annotations. So let's have a look. I brought also some examples here. And the first example which I would like to show you is an intelligent one. So I open that, and maybe I don't open that with Acrobat, I can open that with Reader. So have a look. When I open that with Reader, it works in Reader as well. It's a free reader, and I can trust this document, and then it works. So you can click in here. When you click in here, this 3D window, which was just a picture on top of it, releases the 3D model, and the 3D model can be turned now, and you have a menu bar on top of that, and this menu bar can of course steer different things inside this model. So for example, you can go here and open the structure tree. You can switch the background into a light background. You can have different views, home views, or you can drive that from a different angle. So I don't know, Reader does not want me to work, so I close that. Okay, I closed it. And I opened that with Acrobat, but in Reader it works. Can believe me, a lot of customers are trusting that, and that works quite well. So what you see is here is this bottle, and I can turn that with the left mouse. With the right mouse you can zoom, and with both mouse buttons you can pan. So it's very easy to use. Background, for example, you can change here into a white background. But I leave it as a dark background because in this model there are some more things which 3D can contain. So let me switch on the structure tree, and you can see this is an original CATIA assembly from CATIA V5. There is a tool called Tetra 4D PDF converter available, costs 500 euros, very cheap, where you can convert 40 different formats with just drag and drop without having the CAD system on the desktop into a 3D PDF. And there's also a server version available for that from ProStep, and you can really easy do a workflow in the company. So when you look at that structure tree, you can see that all the parts are turned on here. So you can turn on different parts which you want to see or which you don't want to see on the left side, or you can just go here and say I want to just highlight this part and go and just isolate it, and I have only the top part. What you also see on this model is that you have these configurations, these different views. And so the different views can include different things. So for example, I have a cut section. That's a view which I just stored. Just click on this plus, create view, and you have a new view. Very easy, and you can still navigate around it. You have different views stored here, and this view which you can see here, in the dark background it's better visible, includes PMI data. PMI, that's called product model information from CATIA or from other systems like Creo or NX or whatever. You have, let's say, dimensioning and tolerances which are not as a 2D drawing, but they include that in the 3D model, and 3D PDF can include that, and the PRC format, which is used here as a very precise BREP model, can include those PMI data. So what I would like to show you as well is not only PMI is possible, but you can click on a part like that on this bottle, and here in this rest of the PDF, maybe I do it large, then it's better visible. There you can see that these are form fields. So a form field can, for example, show the different views. So I can just click in this form field and they are coming here as well. If I look at that, different configurations have been done, including an animation. So for example, if you want to start the animation, you go here and you can also say, for example, this is Cologne. Type in this form field, you can start the animation, and you can see each step is listed here. And once the animation has been finished, you can even click on the different parts and highlight those. So for example, show me this animation step to remove the rod or to remove the ring. So those are different animation steps. And if I say, okay, I want to click on a different part in this animation, you can do that. So it's very, very powerful. On the right side, you can see the details from this model, attributes, so even metadata from this CAD system comes across. So if I look at the bottle and I click 2 times, I zoom a little bit deeper here. So you can see that on the right side. So you have now the attributes from CATIA V5 inside the 3D PDF. So it's not only a stupid model, it has really intelligent metadata, and they are coming directly off the CAD system, and you can read that out with JavaScript and fill that into this form field. So a lot of processes can be automated, and there's no other format which can do that in the engineering world, what we can do with PDF, because it's a document and not just a 3D format. A lot of people throw that in one box and say, well, but we have JT, and JT can do animation, and JT can do this and that. Yes, that's true, but JT is not a document. Yeah? So there's a lot of discussion, and Mr. Wächter can sing a song on that, discussions, but companies who have used that in their processes, they're really delighted because it's very powerful. Large companies like Boeing, Airbus, BMW, Volkswagen, and so on, they use 3D PDF very heavily for different processes and save a lot of money. Also, annotation is possible and measurement is possible. So if I go here, for example, on the initial configuration and I click on the measurement, you can see that there is a possibility. I zoom a little bit in, sorry, that's a little bit far away. So you can, for example, see what is the distance from this point to this point, and that can be stored in the file. Also, comments can be stored in a 3D model. So you know those comments which are available in the reader. We have not only text comments, but also redlining capabilities, for example, this one. So you can just circle this part, then I go out here and say I want a different view, like the section view. I do, for example, another comment here, and in the bill of material view, for example, I would like to have another comment, and I drew just a sticky note on that. So what happens is Acrobat Reader remembers exactly which view I had when I was doing the comment. So that's very powerful, because then you can comment also 3D models with a free Adobe Reader, having that as a CAD viewer available, having all the metadata, all the structures, and if you have Acrobat available, you can even export that into different formats like JT. Okay, that's one example out of the manufacturing space. I would like to show you an example which is an architecture example. So this is an expose from a house, and it uses a lot of interactive functionality from PDF. So if you click on this one here, you can see that it includes different views and different layers. So in this drawing we have a lot of layers which come from a DWG file, from a drawing. And you can put that on a button, so you can say, okay, show it without measurement, show it without stamps, show everything. Then you can see here that there's a 3D model included as well, and you can put the different views here on the different buttons, which I have seen, have shown you before. Also, you can say, okay, I want to click on the pictures, and then the picture itself is moving. Everything is done with just interactive buttons, very easy. If you click on those buttons, you can see, just double click on that and what has been done. So it just says, okay, go to this level and so on. So it's very straightforward to use and very easy and nice done. Also, you can include a movie like that. So if you click on this movie, it will automatically start a movie, or you can put here a 3D model. So before I have seen that 3D model, and I would like to show you that this is the same thing, the same technology, but in this time available as an architecture example. Okay, before, and there are a lot of other examples which can be done. I have a lot of stuff on my machine. If somebody is interested, I can show you. There are some processes which can be combined. So security outside the PLM system can be connected to this 3D model. And so you can say, okay, if this document leaves our company outside our firewall, it has to be protected and all the intellectual property data has to be secured. And that can be easily done with a very intelligent PDF container, which I have shown you before. So the last thing which I would like to show you is also a thing called georeferenced PDF. Georeferencing was introduced when Acrobat 9 was on the market, and that technology which was implemented was originally from the company called Esri, and this geo engine is now included in every free reader and also in Acrobat. So I show you an example on that as well. Because there are a lot of things available which you can do with this and a lot of workflows. For example, this is a map of the US, including Alaska and Hawaii. Nothing special. Of course, you can have here the different layers which you can switch on and off. That's nothing special. But what is special, you have a georeferencing here. So first of all, if I click on this Earth and you go with the cursor here, you can see on the right bottom that there is the longitude and the longitude and the latitude in hours, minutes, seconds. So if I click here, for example, with the right mouse button, I say mark the location, it automatically puts the comment with the right latitude and longitude. You can copy paste that into Google Maps and then you are automatically at the right place in Google Maps. Also what you can do is you can measure in the real world coordinate system called VTS 9084. That's what you have in your navigation system in your car. You can, for example, see I want to measure the distance from let's say Los Angeles. And normally, you see, this is the kilometer, 530. If I go to Hawaii, it is not 600, it automatically jumps to 4,000 kilometers because this is georeferenced. That means you have the real world coordinates, and those comments, 4,107, are stored here as a comment, and you can, for example, answer to this comment or whatever. That's interesting for companies who have maps with city data and also with, for example, data which has property data on it. So that's the last thing I want to show. I think my time is over now, and that's an example from the company called Esri. That's also a georeferenced example, and I would like to show you in this example that next to the coordinates and next to the possibility to measure real data, for example You see that this is 540 meter. You have also object data in this file. And object data are really interesting. You can see that here, and you say object data, please add that to the toolbar. And then you click on a building, for example, on this one here. So what happens, inside the PDF structure, it's possible to store metadata which are not visible here, and say, for example, please show me, and I can make it a little bit bigger, a building with some attributes. And I say, okay, please zoom to the selection. And I say, okay, let's go to the building Bauamt. So if I zoom on Bauamt, it automatically goes here in this drawing and will highlight this building for me. So let's go a little bit closer, go with the cursor and say, please go on the selection. It doesn't work here, I don't know why. Normally it highlights just this selection which I have selected. So it goes directly to a building. And you can see this is a very complex structure from the GIS system, which is exported into a PDF and which stores also the metadata as object data. Okay, so that was a little bit of an overview what's possible. There are a lot more examples available, what's possible with PDF, with interactivity, with JavaScript and so on. But 45 minutes is over, and I hope you have a little bit of an impression what you can do. Of course, you need the right tools to do that, and as this is a vendor track and I'm from Adobe, that's the last word I have to say. You have Acrobat 11 Pro, and then you can do all the things which I just showed you before. Thank you for your attention. Any questions? So that was a marketing decision that this is unbundled. If you are Acrobat 10 customer, you get a free upgrade to Lifecycle Designer, and if you want, if you're a new customer, you want to buy it, you can buy it for $300 US, or in Germany for 300 euros. This product is still available, but you have to buy it separately, yes. Yeah, we had that question yesterday. So the strategy from Adobe is for XFA, we have a technology called AEM Forms. That's from our web content management. And you can drag and drop an XFA template into this, and you get automatically an HTML5 file and structure out of it. Pardon? No, that has nothing to do with Form Central. That's a server-based application, and you can do that in the server-based application as an HTML5 out of an XFA structure. Other questions? Yeah.
Are there any plans to include JT as a streaming part?
We have, or not we, Tetra has included an export for JT in the latest version. So you can export out of 3D PDF JT, you can import JT. The decision why it was U3D and PRC was because at that time JT was proprietary and not an open standard. That has changed. I know that they are talking to each other to do something. I don't know what happens. Maybe there will be some solution, however it looks like, but it will stay in the moment like it is with U3D and PRC.
Can I ask you, I'm not sure right now how 3D models play with PDFA. They're not part of the PDFA.
Okay, I repeat that question. So the question was how does it work together as an archiving standard? So in the PDFA line, there will be no 3D. So the committee has decided that the archiving of the 3D will be included in the PDFE, and with PDFE2, which is coming soon, which includes the PRC model, which is a BREP model, which can be compressed and has precise data. It is possible to do an archiving with PDFE2, and you can even export out of the PDF, for example, in different data file, for example JT, for example STEP, for example IGES, Parasolid, STL, whatever. And there's an open API, so you can extend that list. You can export whatever you like. Any other questions? Okay, thanks a lot and have a good rest of the day.